Hello and welcome back to Anatomy with Dr. P. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the structures associated with the esophagus and stomach. At the bottom of the esophagus, we notice this little narrowed ring of muscle. This is known as our lower esophageal sphincter, sometimes referred to as the cardiac sphincter. Now, this sphincter is important medically because when it fails, food and stomach acid can travel from the stomach back up through the lower esophageal sphincter into the esophagus, causing a condition we call gastroesophageal reflux disease. So GERD is simply a failure of this sphincter to hold the stomach contents inside the stomach. Now, as we leave our esophagus, we enter into the stomach, and we're going to divide our stomach up into four major regions. The first portion of the stomach, which we can see here, is known as the cardia. The second region is this kind of domed area that's called the fundus. And the fundus is actually a weird name because fundus means bottom. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dr. P, that is not the bottom of the stomach. That's quite clearly the top because that's where food is coming in. Well, the reason why we call this the fundus is if we look at a stomach, if I turn it from the side, when someone is laying down, the stomach is tilted like this, which means that the fundus is actually the lowest point on the stomach. And when anatomists do cadaver dissections, this looks like it's the bottom. This also brings up an important point. For anyone suffering with GERD, it's really important not to lay down right after eating. And the reason for that, if we lay down, our stomach tilts like this, so the fundus is lower down, all of that stomach contents is going to slide down towards the fundus and towards our lower esophageal sphincter, putting pressure on it and potentially allowing food and stomach acid to move back up into the esophagus. So again, here's our cardia where we came in, our fundus, which is this domed region. The major portion of the stomach is known as the body. And then as we get towards the end, we can see our stomach narrows down. This is referred to as the pylorus. Pylorus comes from a Greek word that means gatekeeper, because the pylorus section is the exit point of the stomach. As we reach the end of the pylorus, we can see this ring of muscle here that pinches the pylorus closed. This is referred to as the pyloric sphincter. This is the sphincter that's going to control the release of chyme, partially digested stomach contents, into the duodenum or duodenum of the small intestine. Now, a couple other structures we can see on the stomach. This big outer curvature of the stomach is known as the greater curvature, and the smaller inner curvature is known as the lesser curvature of the stomach. Inside of the stomach, we can see all of these folds and ridges. These are known as the gastric rugae. And the job of the gastric rugae is to allow the stomach to expand. So as our stomach fills with food or fluid, those rugae are going to disappear as the stomach gets bigger and bigger and bigger.